Hey everybody, it's Galmadex, and welcome back to another premiere draft of Pioneer Masters with the Devotion bonus sheet this time around. And while we are going to be pack one, pick one card that references Planeswalkers, this isn't from the Planeswalker bonus sheet. As you can see, the Wingsteed Rider here is a card from the Devotion bonus sheet because it's got two white pips in the mana cost. It's really hard to tell what's from what bonus sheet unless you've looked up all the bonus sheets in this format. They don't have their own set symbol, they don't have their own watermark. It is a little annoying, but it is still cool to change up the format every week, or every couple weeks. So, anyways, that whole spiel out of the way, we're just going to pack one, pick one, a great, efficient removal spell in one of my favorite colors in the sets. Red plays some really strong aggro decks in the format. They're pretty simple decks, and premium removal goes a high. Premium removal goes well in like any deck in the format. I don't know why I completely just brain farted right off the bat. Pick two, Ash Zealot towards mono red. This is from the Devotion bonus sheet as well. Helps you get that high red devotion if you get to pick up a Perforos. Or the Fanatic of Mogis does damage equal to your devotion to red when you play it. I had some really good success with mono red in the past, so I don't mind taking a pretty strong mono red card here, potentially leaning towards that for now until we get convinced otherwise by getting kicked off of the red here or anything like that. If we want to just take the strongest card in the pack regardless of color, I think the Night Howler's quite nice, Cloudfin's okay, Extricator's okay. It's probably Night Howler for the strongest card regardless of color. We'll go for the Zealot here. Wow, Wild Slash and Draconic Roar. Really nice red pack here. Draconic Roar, 2 mana 3 damage or 1 mana 2 damage, which is better. Really depends on the format, and I'm not sure how much 3 toughness stuff there is over the 2 toughness. The fact that Slash can shoot face is really nice. Draconic Roar can, if you have a dragon in hand, shoot a creature and their face, but there's not a ton of super playable dragons in the set. I feel like Wild Slash is probably better on average. I'm going to take Wild Slash. Pick 4, Rubble Belt Raiders, also from the Devotion bonus sheet. Triple red in that mana cost, so if we get anything that cares about red devotion, that card's going to be really excellent. Otherwise, it is pretty filler. It gets really big when it attacks, but obviously it's quite a terrible blocker, and it doesn't trample over or anything. Dragon Mantle is really nice in mono red because you have all the mana to buff it up, plus any heroic cards care about that quite a bit. Boundary Lands Ranger also really good 2-drop. Dragon Mantle might actually be the better pick here. You know, yeah, I think I've talked myself into it. We'll take a Dragon Mantle off of this pack. Here's another Dragon Mantle. There's also McKindy Slide Run. There's also Experiment 1. Green looking pretty open. Pick 5. Maybe now's the time to hop into a secondary color. But you know what? When in Devotion, I'm going monocolored for now. Pick 6. Okay, now there's pretty much nothing in red. We can take the Bloodfire Enforcers to really force mono red. Or Solemn Vision and Pelakka Predation are probably the best off-color cards. Hero of Lena Tower is probably fine in a deck with double Dragon Mantle, though. And green was looking more open towards potential Gruul aggro if we took the Experiment 1 earlier. Yeah, here's Leaf Crown Dryad that also plays well with the hero. Cloudfin Raptor, pretty reasonable too. Pick 8. Ooh, Audacity plays super well with hero and just great cheap aggressive creatures. Throwing an Audacity on an Ash Zealot would be really gross. Savage Punch also for removal is definitely ideal, but we do have an Oath of Chandra and a Wild Slash already, and we're going to have access to Red's great removal spells. So I think we could take the Audacity for how strong that could potentially be. Pick 9 Wingsteed Rider. I'll take that over Fall the Hammer. That's a pretty nice Boros Heroic card, so being open to that still could be something. If we get one of the really powerful green devotion cards, maybe we could go mono green as well, but probably full Gruul. So Evolving Wilds is the safer pick, but I'm trying to do some spicy devotion-y nonsense. So we'll get the double pipped card. Wow, yeah, pick 11 Tactician towards Boros. Pick 12 Tactician towards Boros. But we also got the Rubble Belt Raiders. Rubble Belt Raiders is going to be great in Gruul or Mono Red, so it is definitely more flexible, but Boros is like the strongest deck. one of the strongest decks. I think I'm moving Boros here with the pod looking how it is. Yeah, I guess red just kind of dried up out of the packs because every red card that we liked came back around. Yeah, we can get Fnatic now over Tactician here. Now I'm going to be a little sad about not taking the Rebel Belt Raiders because we got the Fnatic Amogus that really incentivizes the mono red. There's the Witch's Mark that plays super well with Heroic. Sets up your draws. Beautiful card. Simple draft again today. Yeah, I think the only thing we really missed out on last pack was a Rebel Belt Raiders. That was a super late pick we could have added to this deck. There's no argument in the universe to not be in red when we get pick 3P and Kieran. The big argument here is mono red, Gruul, or Boros. And when in Theros, when in the Devotion bonus sheet, tried mixing all the words together there. I am so trying to push towards monocolor. There's another Ash Zealot. Let's go. Incredible 2-drop if we get to go monocolored, and still decent if we have to go 2 colors here. Let's just get really lucky and have everybody open up all the Rebel Belt Raiders, because it looks like no one in this draft pod is interested at all, except for me. And I am quite interested in some double pip and triple pip cards like Ash Zealot, Rebel Belt Raiders. Pick 5. There's the Reverent Hunter for mono green. That's pretty funny. I need to up my creature count quite a bit, so Slide Runner looks like a high pick, but not super high on removal, and removal's super important, so Boulder Salvo would be helpful. We need to really make sure we have enough 1 and 2 mana plays to actually surge this out, but it is quite important for the mono red deck. Could definitely be Salvo over Slide Runner, but I really want to hit critical mass of 2-drops to be super aggressive. And there we go. We still get a Draconic Roar here. There's also a 3rd Dragon Mantle, but I've already got 2 of those. And here I can take Salvo over Enforcers. Pick 8, get another Slide Runner. Pick 9, another Slide Runner. It's like a 3-2 trample like half the time, which is pretty egregious. When you hit the lands. When you don't hit the lands, it's pretty egregious in the wrong direction. A 2-1 for 2 is pretty bad, but a 3-2 trample for 2 is pretty insane. Just need to scoop up a bunch of good creatures in the last pack. We just have the full Slide Runner team. I've got all my 2-drops. Just need a bunch of 3 mana creatures, a couple 1-drops, and we'll be golden. If we can get some of those heroic 1-drops, they play well with the Dragon Mantle, the Witch's Mark. I guess I don't have too much heroic going on. Yeah, we just wheel all the Boulder Salvos anyway. I mean, at this rate, we probably would have wheeled all the Slide Runners too. If I just took the Salvos over them instead of the other way around. All right, so again, the one pick of the pod we really got punished for was the whatever we took over the Rebel Belt thing. I don't remember what it was. Oh, Wingsteed Rider, I think. Because Boros Heroic is so strong. But I should have known. I'm just so pumped about trying to do monocolored nonsense that I was going to end up mono red. There we go. Rimrock Knight is an incredible creature, and we need to up the creature counts. This ups the creature and heroic enabler counts, so it's perfect. Sadly, we can't play a 9-drop in a monocolored aggro deck. But Void Winnoware is super cool. I think I've opened it twice, and each time was when we were drafting mono red. Pretty spicy. Pick 2. Another Slide Runner. We're not going to have enough devotion to want to play Labyrinth Champion. I think that card's pretty inconsistent. God, these packs are so sick. There's another Farika, God of Affliction for mono red. Sorry, Farika. Martial Glory for Boros. Pick 3, there's Gear Crafter. That is like the ideal super premium incredible. 3 drops, I'm taking it over Draconic Roar. I've got a Roar. I've got another Roar with Oath of Chandra. I've got a Slash. I've got Double Salvo. I'm taking the 3-drop creature when I have none. And it's like the best 3-drop creature in red. At common, at least. Gives you a nice wide board state. One of them is an evasive threat. The flyer is excellent to put Dragon Mantles onto. Here's an excellent 1-drop with the Swift Spear. We don't have a ton of 4-power greater creatures to make Ranger that good, so we'll take the Swift Spear. And that's a full deck here. 23 cards, 17 mountains would be a deck, but we're really aggressive, really low curve. So I'll be happy to draft some more non-creature cards and run like a 15-land deck here. So we'll draft one more spell, and then every spell we pick will cut our weakest card from then on. Which is probably some Bloodfire Enforcers. This needs an instant and a sorcery, and even then it's still 2 toughness against removal spells. We have 2 instants, 3 sorceries. Yeah, this is not going to be very good. This will be our first cut. So we have 3 more picks before we start wheeling stuff. So 3 packs where we haven't seen any of the contents yet. There could still be some good red cards for us, like maybe some more Gear Crafters. Reds certainly open enough that it's a possibility. This is not a good pack. We do not have a lot of power for our greater creatures, so we're just not going to play any of these. So we'll hold down that Alt key and draft something we don't own a playset of yet. I definitely own more than a playset of Furious Rise from other sets, so I guess I'll get Wingsteed Rider. I'm never going to play that in Constructed, though. Yeah, we'll just take it uncommon. Pick 7. All right, Follow the Hammer could be fine. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 creatures. 16 if I play the double enforcers. Yeah, I'll play Follow the Hammer for the last card for now. None of the Akroan Crusaders, sadly. Although they're not even that great in this deck. We're not super consistent with the heroic. If we ever get to 8 mana, kind of went on the spot with that monstrosity, but 9 times out of 10, this is a 5 mana 5/4 with no other abilities. So I'm just going to take another Dragon Mantle. Cutting Enforcers. Take a Boulder Salvo. Cutting Enforcers, I'm on 14 creatures. I'll take anything. Not a Labyrinth Champion, though. Dang. Do I have to play some Enforcers just up the creature count? I might. Got another Draconic Roar, geez. Well, I guess that ups our instant count. Now we've got 1, 2, 3. 4 instants. 4 instants and 4 sorceries. Okay, Boundary Lands Ranger I will certainly play. Just a 2 mana 2/2 at worst. Pick 13 Phalanx Leader. I don't even think anybody's in Boros. I think just no... Like a Akroan Crusaders got opened, which is interesting. Again, not that they're even that good in here, but it's weird we didn't see them. Okay. So, I do not like this mana curve a ton. Maybe cut a Slide Runner, honestly. 6 might be a bit much. Maybe a little bit. This is 17 creatures, though, so I could just cut all non-creatures. I have 2 Roar, for instance. 3 Salvo and a Witch's Mark for sorcery. Also a Fall the Hammer and a Wild Slash, for instance. So we have 4 instants, 4 sorceries, and 4 enchantments. Enchantments don't help the Bloodfire Enforcers at all, and this deck doesn't have any flyers for the Dragon Mantles. It's got like 1 Thopter from Gearcrafter and 2 from PN Kieran. I don't think this is an excellent Dragon Mantle deck, but the card in general is just pretty good. Could still run all of them. Pretty great with Swift Spear. What if I go 14 lands here? We go really low and then get rid of a 4-drop. Manticore could still definitely be a finisher for us. One Slide Runner, one Enforcers. And then like one Dragon Mantle. Maybe the Fall of the Hammer, actually. I've got so much removal here without it. My Enforcers are less consistent this way, but I'm also only running one Enforcers anyway. This is the 15 creature deck? Yeah. Still decent. Alright. We've got a fun little mono red deck here. It's certainly not as strong as our last one. But, I mean, loads of cheap removal, a million 2-mana creatures. We're still going to cheese out some victories, especially with some finishers like Pian Kirin and Fanatic of Mogis. So still looks like a solid deck that can cheese a lot of people for some quick victories. Should be a nice, speedy draft today, whether we win or we lose. So let's just hop right into the gameplay and see how this does. Here we are for game 1 with 0 creatures in the hand. I really don't want to mulligan down a card, but I think I have to. There we go. Now we have creatures. Now we start with the 6-card hand here. Maybe I should still play triple Dragon Mantle. And I should just cut like one Fall of the Hammer, one Salvo. Because looking at it, like Dragon Mantle's good on Ash Zealot or Slide Runner. But like especially on Ash Zealot, that's a really threatening activated ability to have access to. Like however big their blocker is, I'll just buff up to that big and eat it without losing a creature. Cloudfin Raptor. Another tap land from our opponent. And Dragon Mantle here to really try to hit my next land. I think I'm going to Slide Runner first, so I know I get to attack with 2 creatures next turn no matter what. Then Dragon Mantle. And then I can go Dragon Mantle, Boulder Salvo if I hit the land. Gust of Wind, bounce the Slide Runner, sure. Another tap land. No, poke me for 0, send a message. Okay, well, I'm going to do the thing again. Grixis from our opponent. There's the Ingenious Scab to hold us off here. The Raptor gets the buff as well. We did hit land for turn. Threaten to make Ash Zealot ruin their life. Oh god, they have a 1 blue mana? Oh, they have Ingenious Scab's ability. Right. Okay, triple salvo. I guess we just do that if we're going to have triple salvo here. Yeah, I'm probably going to ditch one of these salvos for another mantle or another land in between games if I remember. Well, if nothing else, we have halved their life total. There's a Skirmisher. Does not block the Zealot particularly well, but kind of nothing does. A Necromancer with no humans. It's a Pian Kirin. God, do we need lands here? Yeah, I'm probably going to cut Salvo for a land as the play. I guess if they block with their whole board, Zealot actually dies here because they don't have any instants. That would be monumentally bold, though. Because if I had basically any instant, they just lose their whole board now, and we super win. That's frustrating. I think the attack's still reasonable because they're not super likely to go for this block. Although maybe I should have went for full control mode. Because they know my hand is 100% spells. So I think probably just trump with Skirmisher. That's what we normally get done here. I might have to mute my opponent just to get their cat thing to shut up. Oh, the Possessed Scab on Necromancer? Alright. Well, we have missed probably infinitely too many land drops to pressure through all this. P and Kieran for the flyers, plus damage direct to face can still be quite scary. So, I mean, it's not impossible. I'm not going to scoop yet, but just on average, things look very, very bad for us. Clear out the Rapture Pope for 2 in the sky every turn. And if they just draw dead, they do die to Thopters. That is pretty much all the plan that we've got left in our deck here for this late in the game. Well, I got something at instant speed. Scatter to the winds. Yeah. Alright, getting that before they can awaken it is excellent. And I still have the other salvo to clear the Raptor out. They have to heavily consider not attacking now. Ew. Gust of Wind on a token is pretty ridiculous. Just massive 2-for-1 removal. Hello, Fnatic. Alright, we're still doing the thing. Goodbye, Fnatic. Next turn, all attack and then shoot face for 2. Block, 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 block. Take 1, 2, 3, and I can't sack because Pia dies on the attack. Yeah, well, we're not all attacking yet then. I don't love not having the mana up to stack the Thopter to Pia and Kieran, but playing the Slide Runner makes a top deck land just infinitely better. Blow that up. Block, block, block. 4, 5, 6. Okay, I could have gone for that if I main phased the Draconic Roar. But because I held off for it, I don't know if they have a counter spell for it, so if I try to do it and then they counter it, then they just like kill a lot on my board and survive if I attack all. Fight with fire unkicked. You can sack the Thopter to put them to 2, or keep it to be able to do damage over time. If I put them to 2, they only have 4 blockers up, so I think I just put them to 2. Because this is their last card, so they're just dead on board if I do that. I don't even have to cast the Roar. Block, 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 block. 2 damage gets through. For Exactsies. Yep, we'll just do that. And there's the concession from our opponent. Playing aggro decks can be really nerve-wracking. Playing Magic the Gathering in general can be really nerve-wracking. Aggro or control in different ways. But in aggro decks, you can get into these positions where it's like, your opponent just gets so stable, and you're just like playing 1 creature a turn, sitting here doing very, very little, and it's like they have to draw so bad for these cards to just get enough damage to win the game, and sometimes you gotta just play it out, and they will just draw miserably like that, which is just really nerve-wracking, because you're like, every draw step could just end me. But they drew super, super poorly, so we got enough damage off the PN Kieran. Another slower multicolor splashy deck, like is all over the place in the format. One of very few formats that I can play just a streamlined aggro deck and feel like I am the unique player based on the opponents. This is not a unique deck, though. This is just as popular as Gates and stuff. It just feels like I play against the big soupy multicolor mush piles all the time, rather than the Boros kind of nonsense all the time. But I guess that's just because like so many different color pairs and color trios fall under the category of soupy multicolored mush. Just play PN Kieran and jump into the sky here? Probably. What do they want these district guides for? Our opponent is bold. If this were a board wipe, they'd be trading off, so I'm going to play PN Kieran. Goreclaw. Illusory Angel. That was pretty good for our opponent. What if I were to just kill those, though? I actually do play the land, because it's going to trigger Slide Runner and give me the Rimrock Knight for potential lethal. They block Pia and Gearcrafter. They take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is not lethal. Okay, so we don't attack with Pia. I think I have enough mana here to hold off on the Boulder Rush and just have it up next turn. I'm going to flash in something to kill PN Kieran. Do you have instant speed life gain? Prove it. I really don't think there's a lot. We're looking at the graveyards where they got a Delph card? Pulse of Marasa. Alright. That's not great for me. Oof, and the Essence Scatter, alright. Well, that goes from not great to pretty bad. Jesus, alright. Our opponent is still, like, 90% likely to die here, but it's been a solid sequence towards the stabilization. Okay, put them to 1, and they scoop right there. We are 2-0 heading into Game 3. Alright, sweet hand for Game 3. Mirror match. Some kind of red aggro. Boros it is. I gotta look up some guides to playing aggro. I don't actually know if it's better to play a 2-2 haste or a 3-2 trample first, in terms of damage output over time. Because like 3 a turn is more than 2 a turn, but this gets 2 damage immediately, you know. Could just lose for being on the draw here, but blocking is pretty miserable against heroic decks because they have infinite combat tricks. So I think we have to just keep sending in and just hope to outrace here. I wish I had an instant here because it's like so clearly a combat trick on blocks, which is frustrating. Or a removal spell that would stop our Witch's Mark from putting a roll on the board. Got an instant engrave. I'll get a sorcery engrave off Witch's Mark. We could just slam down the enforcers and pass. So if it is just a combat trick, it plays pretty bad for them. If they have the removal spell, though, they just get to blow up enforcers, and that's a fine turn. Okay, removal spell. But they likely had both. The Zealot. I guess attacking through the first strike is rough, but this enforcer is about to be first strike and trample. So they probably have the removal for that as well. It is incredibly risky to try to put a Wicked Roll on the board, because if I do try to put the Wicked Roll and they kill whatever I'm putting the roll on, they counter the entire Witch's Mark. So I'm going to do this without targeting anybody, because I really need the cards. Show me that combat trick, shall you? Oh, they never had a trick? Bad Hadden is bad? Cool. Flood, I guess. We just continue getting lucky, and we are like 3-0 now, just instantly. All right, here we are on the draw again for game number 4. We have Swift Spear into a bunch of cards that are really good to put onto it, the Dragon Mantle and the Witch's Mark. Well, I guess we're going to play the Slide Runner first. This is a really great start, so we'll definitely keep it. Be really brutal on the play, but can't always win the die roll. Selesnya from our opponent. Pass turn. That's tilting. It would be the 0 instant hand when they have the 2-mana 2/2 flash. Yeah, it's been a while since I played against Selesnya Charm, so I forgot about that. I don't think I've played against a single copy since the Devotion bonus sheet came out. But that was brutal. And now they just have a 4/2 Vigilance Trample. Well, be pretty happy to move to the next game pretty quick here, because we have been astronomically blown out by that. Especially if they have instant speed removal for this Slide Runner, because I kind of want to Witch's Mark it up. I guess I really want to Dragon Mantle so I can salvo the blocker. Maybe actually get attacks in here. Okay, no removal this turn. There's a P in Kieran. Better to be lucky than skilled. We'll see. Heliod's Pilgrim does not do a lot. Oh, they actually hit their only auras in the deck already? So Audacity, and they probably have another aura in hand. I think we have to just play P and Kieran instead of Slide Runner plus Witch's Mark right now. Man, yeah, if I played around Selesnya Charm, we'd be in a really incredible position here. Opponent is 3+ colors again. They're black, green, and white. Find a small buff of the Evolving Wilds. Knightly Valor the Pilgrims. They've got 2 blockers up here. 3/4 and a 2/2. I've got the Oath of Chandra for the 2/2. Can make Slide Runner a 4/3 with Witch's Mark plus land for turn. Is that better than putting Witch's Mark on a flyer? It could be, because that's going to help clear the path for all of our other attackers on the ground, so I'm going to go for it. Actually ditch the other Slide Runner to guarantee I have landfall this turn. Double land off the top is pretty awkward with that play, but it is what it is. I guess I don't even have to Oath of Chandra right now, so I can leave the mana up to sack a Thopter or buff a Slide Runner more. Oh, no blocks? They're at 13. If they have Unflinching Courage, I lose, because they just put it on Heliod's Pilgrim and I can't do enough damage to that. So I don't think I play around the life gain, because if they have it, I lose no matter what. 4, 5, 6. Can hit for 9 here. I think we just go for it. 2-turn kill. If they Unflinching Courage us, it is so over. Oh, they're 4-color. Blue, white, black, and green. Be the full 5-color deck over here. Baleful Eidolon. Savage Punch. Not the Slide Runner. I mean, they're just dead to Slide Runner then, right? Are they not? Because Trample? Plus a Wicked roll? I mean, I'm pretty sure. Alright. Slide Runner, Dragon Mantle, OP, and we are 4-0 heading into Game 5. Alright, here we are on the play. Game 5. I think we're 4-0. Turn 1, Experiment 1 is certainly quite the start if they have the curve to go with it. Could get demolished. But we're on the play here. We've got a great curve out. Fall of the Hammer, the Slide Runner, sure. Here's the Gear Crafter. Trade the Gear Crafter into Experiment 1, keep the flyer around to get a bunch of damage in throughout the game. There's their own gear per Gear Crafter, alright. The Evolve on the Experiment 1, no attacks. Guess I'm not gonna Witch's Mark yet, because I don't really want to discard any of this yet. Green-red, 4 damage over 3 damage does potentially matter. There's the the 4-mana 4/4 trample that draws a card whenever you target it with anything. Being able to kill that could matter, and I do have Witch's Mark plus Salvo to still surge it. Rimrock Knight to evolve the Experiment one. It now has enough counters to regenerate, which is annoying, but we can outrace it, especially since they played a creature that can't block. Okay, those draws are very bad. Got the Boundary Lands Ranger, so I can keep 1 land in my hand at all times. I can fully kill a Rimrock Knight, or remove 2 counters from an Experiment one, or just pass and save Salvo for something better. I'm gonna pass. They should have a really high creature count in Gruul, so they're probably about to play like a 3/3 or a 4/4 or something. Nope, just all Rimrock Knights all day. Can Slide Runners the draw. Well, this is not good. We're hitting too many lands to outrace our opponent at this rate. But I can Slide Runner, or have Slide Runner trade into the Rimrock Knight here, and just take 3, go to 7. Oh, we might just be dead. Just blow up Slide Runner, hit for 7 is the plan. Double combat trick to kill us. Yeah. Alright, 1 more combat trick or burn spell and it's over. We're at 2. And just another Rimrock Knight. Okay. Dragon Mantle. Could be the end of us. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I can't lethal our opponents. We have to draw something good. At least a creature. Just being able to triple block here is enough to be stable. There's the creature. It's double buff for Boundary Lands Ranger trigger. Find Wild Slash. I have exactly not enough mana to play Slide Runner and hold up Lava or Wild Slash and actually be able to attack here. So I can't attack. I have to just play the creature and pass. Let's see what their last card in hand is here. If they want a preemptive GG me, I'm assuming that they have lethal in hand. Whenever creature troll leaves the battlefield, deal 1 to any target. Yep. Alright, here we are on the play for game number 6. So if we're on an aggro mirror again, now we get to win because we won the die roll. But we're not on an aggro mirror. They start with Golgari, Guildgate. Then Dimir, Guildgate. Another slow deck. It's a pretty good matchup for us. Here's the Slide Runner. Show me that Gates ablaze. Nope, no red source. There's Tomebound Lich. That is a nightmare if I don't hit a land. I do got the Rimrock Knight. Do be Rimrockin'. Okay, if they block, I can Boulder Rush. If they don't block, then I can Dragon Mantle, hope for the Boulder Salvo, and then still have the ability to Boulder Rush, Boulder Salvo if I hit the land next turn. Cool. Boulder Salvo, please. Or, sorry, land for Boulder Salvo, please. We did not hit it. But Draconic Roar can kill the Lich, which is still good. Uh-oh, red source? And Lich is exactly out of reach of Gates Ablaze? Okay, that's no Gates Ablaze. There's a 3/5 lifelink, though, which is absurdly difficult to outrace and absurdly difficult to kill. May have been one land drop from winning the game if it turns into a loss. This game would be drastically different if they didn't have a Lich on board for the Leaf Crown Dryad, and we just needed a land to salvo it. And it's still nowhere to be seen. That is super bad for me, because I have no way to draw a card here. Oh boy, well, blocks are horrific, so we send the team in. Dreadbora Zealot. One 4 doesn't really matter at all because we have the Boulder Rush with this Ash Zealot. My god. Draw 3, play a land, send in the Tomebound Lich. Alright. There's that. Found land 3. Quite a few turns in, but we found it. This is gonna be the 3/2 that picks something up from grave. Or the Pulsamoros again? Oh, it's Treasure Cruise for the Delve. 1 mana Treasure Cruise, that's pretty bad. Finds Wild Slash for Zealot. Four-color Gate strikes again. And that one pivotal land drop might be the end of us. Because they gained well over 9 life, so they would literally be dead without... Had we killed the Salvo before they had the Leaf Crown Dryad mana. Yeah, I mean, I have to just draw perfect from here again, and they have to draw absolute garbage. Or they have to play, like, super, super loose and randomly let too much trample in by accident. Like, if they block in a way where we can trample over by, like, roaring their blocker and Boulder Rushing, that could somehow find a cheese victory. If they're like, yeah, I'll block your 3/2 trample with a 2/2 or something, then it's like, okay, your 2/2's dead, so all the damage tramples through, plus I boulder rush it. And boom, lethal. They are the full 5-color gates. They've got their white source now. Locks it on Smiter. Hello, 4/4. Manticore, a slide runner at their face to put them to 6. Doesn't even really accomplish anything. Oh. Another way to direct damage. I'm just going to move on to the next game here. There's probably like a 1% chance of victory, but there's too much thinking for an insanely low shot at it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and actually put a land in over one of these boulder rushes now that I did lose a game to that lack of mana. Like I said I was going to do after game 1. So far we lost the aggro mirror because we lost the die roll and we were on the draw. And then we lost due to just one really pivotal land drop being missed. So I think this deck is still super capable of maybe rallying to the 7 wins here. Just gotta dodge some rough variants here. And we are on the draw again. So hopefully no aggro mirror. Black deck from our opponent. Probably not an aggro mirror. They could be Rakdos. That's about it for aggro. Orzhov is like somewhat aggressive, but it's more Gates goop. If I want to keep my win rate high, then I do want to keep playing against 3, 4+ color gate goop. But if I want to have fun, I would rather play against like a blue-white flyers deck or green-white auras or just something else, you know? Starting to get pretty tired of the format, but we're almost done with the format season, thankfully. We have the arena open this weekend, and then I get to move on because they're doing a bunch of flashback drafts of different sets, and Aether Drift is right around the corner. So we're at that end of the format's life cycle when I am generally going to be pretty bored of almost any set at this point. I'm going to get Gates Ablazed insanely hard, but I slam down Manticore, I win against basically anything but Gates Ablaze, and I think if they had Gates Ablaze, they would have cast it last turn. We'll see, maybe they'll top deck it, or they were just playing it conservatively. Oh, bring the light to Gates Ablaze would be so frustrating. Oh, Bring to Light just gets to be like their second and third copy of Gates Ablaze. Or second or third copy. It depends on if they have one or two naturally. What are we going to do about P and Kieran now? Yep, Ubulsar Gatekeepers is insanely good here. Theoretically holds P and Kieran off on the ground and clears out a flyer, but we have the tricks to buff this P and Kieran up on the ground and still get in for damage. Got a combat trick here? Nope, just soaking up the damage. Fair enough. There's the Dreadbore for Pia and Kieran. Sky Rider Elf, no removal. I can go land Heartpiercer Manticore and throw my Slide Runner at the Skyrider Elf to get everybody else in next turn. Not through a Gate Colossus. Well, we were the aggro deck, and we got Gates Ablaze, and that's going to happen. With no PN Kieran left in the deck, at this point, I'm not really seeing any draws that are going to turn this around. I mean, I've got another Dragon Mantle, I guess, for the flyer. That's about it. Alright. Now you definitely got me. I mean, we only die in 3 turns, so... At least our suffering is over quick. That is the Dragon Mantle. I'm going to do nearly 13, because she gained another 5. I have to clear out all the flyers. It's going to take like 2 turns in a row. I need the 4-3 to trade into the 3-3, and then I need to have them block anything with Linvala and then Boulder Salvo Linvala. It's going to take too long to break through the flyers because we don't attack in the sky for like 3 turns. Because we attack here, clear out 1 flyer. Next turn we attack, clear out another flyer. Then we can Dragon Mantle up the Thopter and get in. Or we just get our money for nothing and the chicks for free. I might just slam out Dragon Mantle now then. I definitely clear out the flyer. They're probably trying to crack back for lethal, if that's how they block. So that means I have to Dragon Mantle up Ash Zealot here. So if they don't like clear out the Thopter to try to lethal me, then I have a really good counterattacker. If they do, then I can still buff the Ash Zealot so it's big enough to block Gate Colossus and have us not take 13 and die on the spot. If I don't cast Dragon Mantle right now, then I'm dead on the crack back to 1 removal spell on my Thopter token. Because we can't block Gate Colossus with 2 power creatures. And that's the 1 removal spell. So force the chump with the Thopter. Alright, we got Gates Ablazed as the aggro deck, and that's basically all there was to that game. 4 and 3 it is. Kind of a tragic one. I think once we got into the gameplay and started winning some of those first couple games, with how things were playing out, I'm like, you know, this deck is really close to as strong as our last mono red deck. Our last one had a better curve, and Gearcrafter really cannot be understated. Those 1/1 Flying Thopters do a lot of work, especially with like triple Dragon Mantle. So I do think our last mono red deck was better, but I don't think it's on average the difference between a 4-3 and a 7-1. I think we just got a lot luckier last time. This time we ran into some brutal games. Getting Gates Ablazed as an aggro deck is pretty much always going to be a loss. And in that game, they had like a Linvala follow-up to gain 1,000,000 life and get multiple blockers too. So that was particularly brutal. And then we had one of our other losses was a game where had we hit just one land at a pivotal moment to kill their lifelinker before they could make it any bigger, we would have easily won that game because they would not have gained nearly as much life. They would have been drawing and discarding a card every turn. So that game was also some rough variance. And then our only other loss was losing to another aggro deck when we were on the draw, which is going to be pretty easy to do. A lot of those games are going to be heavily decided by who's on the play in an aggro mirror, and we were on the draw for that one. So yeah, I think this is not far off from how strong our last deck was. I do not hate this deck at all. I don't hate how I drafted it all, but it was mainly, for fun just because I want to play more mono red stuff. But I genuinely think that mono red is just really, really powerful with the devotion bonus sheet. So I don't think it's a particularly terrible idea when you see some really good red getting passed around to try to go for that if you can. And I think it was probably one of the strongest decks we could have drafted in the pod. Just a little bit of variance for us today kicks us down from yesterday's 7-1 to 4-3 this time around. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.